Good morning, dear ones. We are very pleased to be speaking with you again. Over the course of this past week, there have been many very profound and beneficial developments on your planet. About a week ago, there were several dimensionally transformative infusions of fifth-dimensional gamma light into your planet. The purpose and effects of these energies, of these transmissions, are many and multifaceted, and they mark a foundational shift in your evolution to the fifth dimension. They are quite profound and important. Foremost in these energies has been a reset of the dimensional fabric of Earth, from 3D to 5D, from third dimension to fifth dimension. Now, yes, of course, for many years now, we have been speaking of ever more powerful infusions and influxes of ascension energies and transformative energies, establishing fifth dimension on your planet within the consciousness of Gaia, Mother Earth, and also of humanity. So what's different about this latest influx of transformative energy is that it is resetting or rebooting the dimensional fabric of your planet and of humanity. It's a little bit like rebooting a computer after installing a new operating system. And to know that these resets, the reboots, are all positive and are actually required to shift from your old dimensional structure to a faster vibrating way of existence. And please know that these dimensional shifts are being orchestrated by ascended level beings, galactic civilizations, to facilitate your ongoing evolution to higher consciousness. And this is especially true over the next 3 months. So right now, a primary aspect of these shifts, of these resets, is to bring the new fifth dimensional systems into being after the painful breakdowns of Earth's and humanity's third dimensional systems. That breakdown is still occurring, but at an underlying energy structure level, the breakdown is pretty much complete. You are simply seeing this play out now. So this reset, and we call it a reset because it truly does clear out the lower vibrational energies that existed, that were remaining from all these transformations. It truly is like rebooting a computer, but of course on a much grander, multidimensional scale. The old systems, the last vestiges of those energies are cleared. And the new comes more solidly, identifiably, functionally into being. This reset also has powerfully cleared much of the remaining lower vibrational astral and etheric entities and energies. In other words, fourth dimensional stuff. This includes remaining energies, fourth dimensional energies of lower aspect, and also entities, spirit beings, astral level spirit beings still very much locked into duality and separation, many of them lost. Now know that no one is injured, no being at any vibration or level is destroyed or injured. There's no such thing as death, only transformation, so please remember this. But this reset is also clearing the astral dimension in a very significant and major way. And at some point, those of you, light workers, those humans who have been able to disengage to a significant degree from habitual third dimensional perception and reaction, will begin to see these changes. We'll begin to see more positive behavior from your fellow human beings. Even those who are still asleep or have begun the process of awakening. Now, on an individual level, many light workers are feeling as though they're jumping out of their skins. This reset, this reboot, this clearing of the old and establishing of higher frequencies, of higher realms, is quite sudden and will seem very jarring to many, if not now, then in the near future. So please remember, dear ones, everything is okay, everything's on schedule, everything is as it should be. And please, just a reminder, do your best not to compare. The medium's been receiving some messages from people, and this is all quite normal. Please hear no criticism or judgment in it, but we know that some are, it's just what people do. They compare themselves to others around them and, okay, am I ascending? What's happening with me? There's so much happening that I must be in lower vibration with all this clearing, or the opposite. I don't feel anything, so maybe I'm not ascending. And there's the inevitable habitual comparisons with each other, and so we just remind you, dear ones, you're all good. If you can hear these messages, and if you have some awareness that something else is going on other than what's presented to you third dimensionally, then you're fine. You just keep doing the best you can. This path, the transformations, how these higher and higher and higher frequencies are assimilated and processed by your being as it transforms multidimensionally. We've talked about all these changes before. This will be different for each one of you in terms of how it feels and how it's experienced. So we will turn now to questions. There were a number of questions which are important, especially involving what's happening in the world and what things look like. There were a few questions about the rioting and the race relations stuff. And so at the everyday level, at the ordinary level, I'll tell you that and we've already discussed the coronavirus and how and why it was created and the fear it was meant to engender and to maintain. So we've already discussed all this. But as is becoming obvious to many, this fear is fading away. More and more people are awakening. More and more people are simply not buying into the fear. So as the energy of fear fades. And this has all been planned, the cabal, or it's, what some call the dark state or the dark forces, whatever. This has all been planned out for quite some time. Know that the plans are really falling apart, but some basic elements of them still are able to be brought into being. So this was planned. The people are being paid to riot and to engage in certain negative behavior, which is purposely intended to heighten old energies of separation of them and us, to reestablish, which this will never happen. It looks like it's happening for now, but it will not. It will not be borne out. That to reestablish racism and class divide, political divide, all of which is illusory anyway. So this is the purpose of this latest effort. So once again, we encourage you to disengage. Just do your best to not be reacting to this appearance or this display emotionally or intellectually. Just let it go. Let it be what it is. Let it be what it appears to be. No worries. Stay centered in your own divine nature and your own heart. Do your best to keep your energies high. The very important principle here is to remember that where your attention goes is where your attention ends up and where your perception is focused on. So if you're watching the news or if you're focused on the riots and on what's happening now with the virus thing, energetically you are carrying yourself into those lower vibrations. You're returning yourself to those deeply third-dimensional habits of perception, of duality and separation. At many levels, you are recreating your own reality at those levels. You are putting energy into the false operations and to what's the desired result of the darker forces. But what's most important for you is that as your energy and as your focus, even if it's momentary or even sustained for a small amount of time, if you keep returning to it, if your focus is there, you will not be able to see the higher vibrational aspects of what's happening. You will not intuitively, at a heart level, understand what's happening. You will tend not even to see the ordinary, everyday manifestations of the dimensional energy shifts and of the coming into the light of all that is and humanity. There's a great deal of evidence of the positive that's happening on your planet right now. But if you're focused on the lower vibrational stuff, you're very unlikely to become aware of it. So please, your focus is very, very important, multidimensionally. If you treat something as real, you will make it real in your experience and in your energy. So we urge you to take your focus Just moment by moment, do the best you can. Take your focus, take your energy, and focus on gratitude. Find that around you and especially within you for which you can be grateful. Be grateful for your higher awakening awareness. Be grateful that you're putting self-judgment aside. Be grateful that you're putting third-dimensional perception and habit aside. Be grateful that you are spirit come as human and you are now awake and you are now existing in an intention, a deeply abiding intention to be love, to bring benefit. And go beyond this. Look for what to be grateful for and stay there. As you focus on gratitude, that which you are focused on will manifest very powerfully. So if your intention is to focus on love and to remaining in love, to remaining in compassion, this will grow exponentially within you and become your reality. Just do the best you can with it. Relax. Everything is fine. And nothing is as it appears in a third-dimensional sense. Remember, dear ones, you create your own reality so much more powerfully than before, moment by moment, which is a wonderful thing if done consciously, with intent. So there was also a question about the communication blackouts. This was mentioned quite a while ago, and we actually did a special short channeling on it. There was a moment in time where there was a great likelihood, kind of a collective or mass brief shutdown in communications to allow for some profound change and shift by, we'll say, light forces. This window did exist, and it was such a powerful probability that we went ahead and mentioned it. But shortly after that, everything shifted, and the energy of it and the way it played out was much more gradual. And it's just the way things are now. Everything is shifting so rapidly, multidimensionally, and the cabal and its minions there's move and counter move, and it's all for naught, really. As we've said, the ascension process of Earth, your move to fifth dimension, is long ago past the point of no return. But those who are still locked in the dark, so to speak, continue to fight and to exert their best effort to maintain their positions. So energetically, the situation shifts constantly in terms of what's going on behind the scenes and that sort of thing. Know that everything behind the scenes is progressing ever more powerfully towards the light and towards all the new systems we've discussed, Nasara, Gasara, all of the economic changes, social changes, all of that is coming into force, coming into being more and more powerfully. So back to the communications blackout, these happen sporadically here and there as they're called for. The purpose of them has actually even shifted and isn't quite what it was before. So please know this. When we give you The basic information we give you remains true. On the rare occasion we give you focused specifics, especially on a timeline, know that that information's good when it's given. And although the basics of it, the purposes of it will pan out and be so, how that will be reflected in your experience will likely change in some way. So, no worries. Also in this process, remember, not only is everything shifting and changing moment by moment, but a primary objective of ours, of higher aspects of humanity, of light beings and light forces, is to make these transitions as easy as possible. And if you'll take your focus off the appearance and put it where we've suggested, into higher aspects of yourself and gratitude and love, you will see this. But this, our desire to make things easier, is especially true regarding the average person. And by average, we mean the asleep person, the person who has not yet awakened, who is still extremely reactive to appearance. We are doing our best to present changes and to let them become clear. The improvements and various changes people are experiencing that are very positive and beneficial. These are often still couched in acceptable vernacular, with words and understandings that will not spark a fearful reaction. So there's much going on at many levels. Just please trust it's all for the benefit of you and all humans. We encourage you to keep sending in your questions to the email address that's on the email that goes out to those receiving notice of these channelings. Most of you are doing wonderfully. Some of you do engage in the habit of kind of focusing within, focusing on love, and then something new happens and there you are locked into it. Especially those of you in major urban centers where the riots and all of these things are kind of in your face. So here, especially, dear ones, remember how powerful you can be. One of you, residing in your heart, holding the light, is more powerful than thousands of people who are freaking out. And remember also what's being presented in the news is still extremely biased and colored. It's more false than ever before. And this is becoming ever more apparent to those who will look. Please remember how important you are. Please remember you are never alone. We are with you always. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for listening, and for engaging, and for doing your best. No worries. No worries.